Hello, this is Lisa Brooke, and this is Record Stories, My Vinyl Life. Today we're going to answer some questions that you may have been asking yourself all these years. Did Hitler actually play vibes? Was jazz delicious hot but disgusting cold? What animals are at the Jollity Farm? Did Cutie have to pay her fare? Well, the answers to these questions are all on the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band's first album, Gorilla. That's what we're on about today. Stay tuned. The Bonzos were a group of art school students in London in the early to mid 1960s, and they got together to make wacky recordings of old 1920s era music, like I'm gonna give a watermelon to my girl tonight, and my brother makes the noises for the talkies. Those are two of the more memorable ones. The lineup on this LP, their first LP, is vivstanshall. He was a lead singer, a well-known eccentric artist and musician in England. Neilinnes, who became an auxiliary member of Monty Python and wrote a lot of the songs for Monty Python. Vernon Dudley Bohé-Noll played bass. Rodney Slater was the main saxophone player, and he was the founder member of the group. Samspoons played rhythm pole, and spoons, of course, hence his name. Roger Ruskenspear was an artist who made automatons and robots and machines that they used in their videos and in their stage act. The drummer, of course, was the inimitable tap dancing Legs Larry Smith. Some of the standout tracks on this LP are the intro and the outro, which is basically Duke Ellington's C Jam blues, that dun 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 dun. And they just introduce each band member and let them play a short little solo. And then when they get through with the band members, they start introducing other band members who aren't necessarily musicians or have anything to do with music. Apparently, John Wayne was on xylophone. Adolf Hitler played vibes. Princess Anne was on sousaphone, General de Gaulle was on accordion, and Roy Rogers was on trigger. Think of that what you will. Eric Clapton also was on ukulele, but he actually did play on the record. Another great track is called Jazz, Delicious Hot, Disgusting Cold, and this was recorded on the first take. They all switched instruments, so they wanted it to sound as inept as possible. It's a jazz instrumental done in the 1920s style, and it's really horrible. They were probably pretty drunk when they recorded it. Probably the most well-known song on this album is called Cab For Cutie. This was a Neilinnes song that was inspired by a 1940s pulp fiction story about a woman who leaves her lover behind at night to go out on the town, and she gets in a taxi accident and gets killed. This song was done as a parody of Elvis Presley's Teddy Bear song, so there's a lot of in it. It was also featured, the Bonzos were featured in the Beatles film Magical Mystery Tour, and they're recording this, their act on stage with a stripper, with the Beatles watching them in the audience. It's a pretty funny trip. I'll link the clip down in the description. One of my personal favorite tracks on this album is called Music for the Head Ballet, and it's a harpsichord instrumental. Neilinnes plays the harpsichord, and when the band performed it, they would just sit on the edge of the stage, their arms at their sides, and just move their head in time with the music. And there were, you know, Roger Ruskin Spears, weird sort of automatons around them. And it was very arty. And I'll link that video down in the description too, because you've got to see it. It's great. The Bonzos also covered a couple of classics or standards on this album, but they, of course, put their own spin on it. They did I Left My Heart in San Francisco and The Sound of Music, both of which start in a straight manner and then just degenerate into noise and cacophony and greatness. It's wonderful. During the time this album was being made, Bonzos were performers on a children's program called Do Not Adjust Your Set. Eric Idle, Michael Palin, and Terry Jones from Monty Python, though not at the time, were stars on this program, and neilinnes got to be friends with them. And that's how neilinnes got to be an auxiliary member of Monty Python. And he performed a lot of songs in their TV series and also in their movies. He's featured pretty heavily with Monty. I first heard of the Bonzo Dog Band when I was in junior high. I was rooting through a clearance bin of cassettes at my local record store and came across a copy of The Best of the Bonzos. And just from the song titles alone, I thought, this is amazing. I've got to have this. And I wasn't disappointed. Their music is a blend of traditional jazz, music hall, or what we call vaudeville here in the U.S., psychedelia, and surrealist art. It's just amazing to listen to. And I've included links to some of the tracks I've talked about today in the description below, so check them out. You'll really dig them, I'm sure. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Keep listening.